unpredictable. I'm talking about the 4 states where the 4 state election results are being counted right now. The votes are being counted for Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Telangana, and Chhattisgarh. And according to the early leads which have come in, it's not a very good news for Congress, though, because there were a lot of hope from Telangana. Of course, Congress has some hope of forming the government there. Chhattisgarh, again, it's a close fight. Congress should be forming the government, but the counting of votes is still on. Madhya Pradesh is a big surprise, where everyone was thinking that probably Kamal Nath will come back in full force. But here, the story is just the opposite. BJP is leading, and BJP is looking like in a strong position to form the government. According to the early morning news breaks, apparently Jyotiraditya Scindia went to Shivraj Chauhan's house. So, of course, the credit goes to Shivraj Chauhan as of now. Rajasthan, again, it looks like a close contest. Gehlot's schemes seem to be working on the ground according to the early leads. There are a lot of independents also who are in the reckoning. They are in the race. So who knows that Congress might join hands with them and form the government, but it's still unpredictable. So a very interesting result. And some would say exit polls, what they predicted we are inching closer towards what they had predicted. Joining me now is a special panel, and let me tell you that we'll be throughout the day, and political analysts, leaders also will be joining us throughout the day. Now, on the panel, you can see BJP leader Pradeep Bais with us. Thank you so much, Pradeep. We have our senior editor, Puneet Nicholas Yadav, Gyan Verma, senior journalist with The Federal, TK Rajlakshmi, deputy editor with The Frontline, and Tabina Anjum, senior journalist and author from Rajasthan. Thank you, all of you. And let me just begin with Puneet to put the things in perspective, and then I'll come to you, Pradeep. Puneet, what do the early results and the leads which are coming in look like? Is it a happy news for Congress? Does it look like a happy story for BJP?
Not results, but only very early leads.
Yeah, leads.
I just got a message from somebody in Madhya Pradesh who says that most constituencies, so far, it's just the second, at the most, the third round of counting. Madhya Pradesh, most seats have roughly between 25 to 32 rounds. So it's still quite a few rounds of counting left, you know.
Does that mean, Puneet, does that mean that there is hope still left for Congress?
Well, the Congress certainly would be hoping that there is hope left. But because, I mean, jokes aside, the thing is that the trends so far certainly do not reflect what was palpable on the ground, you know. You had also traveled across MP. I had also traveled extensively across the state. And this is very different from what we would see and hear. So let's see. I mean, there's no point in any of us calling the elections right now because it's still early stages of counting. But so far, even if this is what the what the picture looks like and stays, I would say, I think barring KCR in Telangana, it's a, like you used to have please all budgets, it's a please all result. The BJP can take heart from what's happening, can rejoice. Madhya Pradesh, be happy with not a very comfortable, but a good workable victory in Rajasthan. The Congress can be, happy about retaining Chhattisgarh, and it has every reason to be absolutely thrilled if the trends for Telangana hold, because Telangana is a slightly different situation than the other 3 states. This was a state where till about 8 months ago, the general predictions coming from all kinds of, poll pundits and political analysts and commentators was that the Congress is gasping for breath. It's on ventilator. It's going to cede its position even as the principal opposition to the BJP. So from that position to now come to a position of power is a major revival for them. Similarly, for the BJP, if it is able to say have a very comprehensive victory in Madhya Pradesh, they have every reason to celebrate, and the Congress likewise would have every reason to reflect upon where it went wrong. And might I add, we journalists also would have several reasons to reflect upon what we have picked up and whether we should stay in this line of work at all. So that's my take. But as I said, still very early trends. I would wait maybe another hour and a half, and for the trends to settle a little.
Right. Absolutely. And you made an important point that we journalists also need to, mull over the fact that what we are picking from the ground and what comes out in reality is totally different. And I completely agree with you. And both of us were traveling, in fact, to Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, and specifically Madhya Pradesh. What we did feel was that the Ladli scheme was very popular amongst the women. Now, is that the main factor for BJP's upsurge again, and where Shivraj is almost seeking like the fourth term? We'll have to just wait and watch for the numbers now more to unfold. Tabina, if I may come to you on the Rajasthan bit, Rajasthan does look like a close call between BJP and Congress. Are we in a position to say that, what do we say at the moment? Gehlot's schemes, of course, seem to be working, and that is the reason why Congress seems to be getting the numbers which are being reflected. But what about BJP's campaign? One has to mention about BJP's campaign as well. That what really worked in favor? Was it the politics of Hindutva? Was it the politics of polarization? What really worked on the ground?
Hi, Neeru. Hi, everyone. Yeah, well, as you said that, even saying this, that the Congress, there is a neck-to-neck competition, Congress is still there. We are considering Congress, we're saying it's a close contest. It itself is a big victory for Congress. Let me tell you, let me go back to 2013 and 2018. I've covered those two assembly elections very closely, very intensively. At that time, one could exactly say which way is the wind blowing. And even now, right now at 10:46, we are still, in just, fingers crossed, just looking at the results, anticipating. We even are not sure that which way it's heading. Why is it so? Because of the social security schemes, because of the social security schemes of Ashok Gehlot government, the Congress government. Some hope here that, people will this time maybe break the tradition of 25 years and maybe repeat the Congress government, number one. And when it comes to BJP, you asked me like what was their campaigning strategy. BJP followed the way, followed the same trend that it did in Karnataka. They had no local face here. I mean, the poster itself was a very clumsy poster with 5 big leaders, like where they accommodated Raje also, Rathore also, the BJP chief also, and as well as there was Modi in the center. In Karnataka, it didn't work. But now in Rajasthan, because, anti-incumbency has been, it's been a perception here. To break this trend, even to break this trend, it takes a lot, because see, I have seen, people of Rajasthan from
Tabina, if I may interrupt you, now what I'm interested in knowing is that what happens to Vasundhara Raje with the kind of results which, the leads which BJP is getting. Where do you see Vasundhara Raje being positioned currently in the BJP matrix of Rajasthan?
See, Raje was one of the few leaders in BJP this time in 2013 who campaigned across the Rajasthan. She didn't stay confined to her only constituency in Jalrapatin, but I could see her in Western Rajasthan also, in Eastern also, in Southern also. So it says that she is one of the stalwart, the mass leader. So her rule comes now. That's what the people are saying.
Would it be wrong to say, Tabina, that she did whatever she did was all by herself? She never got any support from the party's central leadership, with the fact that she was being sidelined. She was embarrassed also to some extent by Narendra Modi and Amit Shah. And then if she has been able to, still have some support. So what does it really show about
One thing
Vasundhara's story?
she did a smart move was like she never spoke about it publicly. So even now, if you ask her on record that this and this and this happened, she'll deny. She'll say, no, party comes first, we are together. Whatever happened, we don't have any public, statements made by Rajay. At least on record, there is nothing. What happened in Congress, the infighting, it was actually in public. There were statements,
Right.
the two leaders were making against each other. But in BJP camp, nothing of this sort came. Maybe she knew that later, if the party is short of few seats, maybe, it touches 90, 95, 96, or then, Raju is where she's needed, because most of the rebels this time who are in the position to win the polls are from BJP. Like 2018, there were a lot of rebels, 12 rebels supported Ashok Gehlot government, independent candidates. This time, there are a lot of close aides of Vasundhara Raje who could be, who could benefit BJP and who could benefit her. I think 1050 is too early to decide on numbers, because Raj's fate will be decided, after we get to know exactly, what are the numbers.
Right.
So, yeah.
All right. Now let me come to Pradeep Benz. I know he's aspiring hard to speak now, and I can see from the smile also on his face. Pradeep, but what I want to know from you, I would not begin with a very positive question. Of course, there is a positive story for BJP there, that the kind of lead which BJP has gotten MP. But what I want to ask you is that the BJP strategy of sidelining its stalwarts, whether it is Rajasthan, whether it is Madhya Pradesh, that somewhere down the line, do you realize it has gone horribly wrong? And now you might have to bring in Vasundhara also in Rajasthan.
Neelaji, first of all, I would like to, wish good morning to all analysts and everyone on the show. And then I would like, the question is not really hard, if I say so. I was listening to Anjum, who's a speaker prior to me, and what she told is that, noted down one sentence, what she took is that records, you will not find any negativity of any leader in the Bharatiya Janata Party. This itself says a lot about the question I will be answering in coming minutes. So, we were talking about strategy. Our strategy is very simple. Every leader and every worker of the party comes one footage, one frequency, and that is to work the development and what we have done in the previous, what we are going to do for future. This particular matter, there is no difference in the strategy. What the opponents, what the analysts, what the media people take the position, that might differ their particular experiences. What, somebody is covering for 20 years, somebody for 15 years, and somebody for years, and they might not, they might have started using AI tools to analyze the things, now. So the conclusion may differ from time to time and people to people, but for Bharatiya Janata Party, it is a party first. And, I would reiterate again that what Dr. Anjum just said, on God, we have nothing. So no study went wrong. The results are obvious. I will speak. I mean, I agree to that it is too early. It's just 10:50 now. Wait by 2 p.m. and then we can come to a conclusion. Let the counting, let the counting continue, and then we can, Karyakartas are different from different part in different mood. They can start celebrating. Either it be Congress or whatever party it is, and for us as well. So preparation for
the kind of lead which BJP has got in Madhya Pradesh, the credit goes to Modi or the credit goes to Shivraj?
No. This, I don't agree to this question. To all the yojanas of the Shivraj and the popularities on the local level, and specifically Ma and Betis of the Madhya Pradesh. It is, you can buy a traffic on any particular content internet today, but you can't buy the sentiments of those who are going to vote for him. I'm saying it very clearly. Please understand this. It can be done. Anything can be.
Just hear me out. Hear me out. The kind of numbers which BJP has got is because of Shivraj Chauhan. Will you not agree? It is his scheme. It is his
Of course. He is the leader of the state. He has convinced the people. His schemes are going.
And he was completely sidelined by your party. You completely sidelined your leader. You admit that.
What is the definition of sideline in this particular scenario? Can you a bit elaborate? He was the CM, he was not removed from this post, and he was doing the campaign and everything. I mean, who got the inference that
We
he
have
was
seen
sideline? It
rallies,
is very hard for me to understand.
Pradeep, we have seen rallies where he did not address the crowd. We have seen rallies where he himself questioned कि प्रधानमंत्री को प्रधानमंत्री बनना चाहिए या नहीं बनना चाहिए, मामा को मुख्यमंत्री बनना चाहिए या नहीं बनना चाहिए. So were those not signs of his frustration, how he was sidelined? And we have been in touch with the people from Shivraj's office. We know what has happened. Me and Puneet were traveling there. So how can you now deny all this?
For that matter, I would like to say this way, that any content producer, whosoever produces content, either for political or for any particular program, the strategies may differ. You might have taken this conclusion that the negative side, but for us, very much positive. Whatever content we float to convince our people, to convince our voters, is absolutely well curated.
Right. All right. Now, let me come to TK Rajlakshmi. Rajlakshmi, what do you think the scenario looks like at the moment? And what do the numbers really look like as of now? Is Rajasthan really heading, going down the wire? What does it look like? Yeah, you'll have to unmute yourself. Rajlakshmi, just unmute yourself. Yeah. I'm not getting your audio, Rajlakshmi. Okay. No, I'm not able to hear you. No, I'm not able to hear you. Just try reconnecting your audio. I'll come back to you. In the meanwhile, I'll come to Mr. Nagarajan. Mr. Nagarajan is a cephalogist, and he'll have a story to tell as far as the numbers are concerned. I'll come to you, Avinash. Just hang on there. Yes, Mr. Nagarajan, over to you. The leads which are coming in as of now, it's almost about 10 minutes to 11 now. What do the leads look like, and what does the entire political story, what's the picture we are getting? Yes. You'll have to unmute yourself. Yes.
As far as Madhya Pradesh is concerned, it's going to be a landslide. So, and as far as Rajasthan is concerned, they will be comfortably around 150. Now, almost 32 seats ahead of Congress. And others and independents, rebels, everything actually is pegged at 23 now. So that will come down to 18 or 16. BJP will go up to 115. That's what actually, I have been saying even before the election, my prediction was the same. And my surprise is actually I was putting BJP only within 40, and they are breaching that and going above 40 in Chhattisgarh. And as far as Telangana is concerned, Congress has actually created a magic by actually bridging the 20% gap between themselves and BRS. And it will be a very good thing, and all credit to Mr. Gandhi and Mr. Revant Reddy, who have toiled. And it will be actually 3-1. 3 for BJP and 1 for and in the outgoing election, actually, assembly, Congress was having 2.
I think there is some issue with your audio, Mr. Nagarajan.
Video has frozen.
Yeah, the video has frozen. Now let me just come to Avinash now. Yes, Arun, you were saying something?
BJP was having main loser. I don't see it.
All right. I was having some issue with the audio. Just try reconnecting, Mr. Nagarajan. In the meanwhile, I'll come to Avinash now. Avinash, what about the story in Madhya Pradesh? I really want to understand from you that what has really gone in favor of BJP? Because Madhya Pradesh is really surprising. There was a perception, at least, which Congress built, that Congress is coming back to power. Kamal Nath is in full control. Now, what has really gone wrong in Madhya Pradesh for Congress? and what has really worked in favor of BJP? Yes.
Niluji, good morning, rather good afternoon, and we are getting very close to some kind of a settling trend, as I would want to call it. Now, there are a few very, very big surprises for us here. One surprise, biggest surprise, is that in Hindi belt to have continued for 5 terms is a big achievement for Shivraj. One. Number two, I did hear you say that whether Shivraj was sidelined in that sense of the term. You're correct. It seemed that he was sidelined. But what we are forgetting from a larger perspective is that Prime Minister's presence actually overshadows everything else. So you would find that in presence of a Prime Minister, even one of the tallest world leaders seems to be sidelined. So that's where I'm coming from. Number three, it's a big win for Shivraj, whether he stays in Madhya Pradesh or whether he stays in Madhya Pradesh as CM for 24 elections. That's something that I don't want to say right now. But certainly, it's a big win for Shivraj, and Modi and his team would want to award him in such a manner that either he gets back his chief ministership or he gets a very, very suitable position in the center, replacing maybe a Rajnath Singh. So that's the kind of stature I'm talking about.
So you are saying that we are still not sure that despite these results in Madhya Pradesh, Shivraj Chauhan will be made the chief minister? Are you saying
I am
that?
very, very,
Still
I am
uncertain
very,
to go
very,
back.
I am very, very sure that BJP is investing in young leaders. We have seen that in Hemanta Biswa Sharma. We have seen that in Uttarakhand in Mr. Dhani. We have seen that in Gujarat. We have seen that everywhere. We see that in Tamil Nadu, that the young IPS officer leading the show. So in that sense of the term, I think they would want to throw the dice up for a young leader. And Shivraj is the right replacement for Mr. Rajnath Singh. And because I think he's reaching 75, he shall be sent into one of the Darshan Mandal. And Shivraj, in the larger sense of the term, shall play a larger political role in the central leadership rather than the state leadership. And Mr. Scindia, who has been really touted for a very long time as the prince and heir apparent of the state, chief ministership, probably he shall be given a chance. And I'm very, very sure Mr. Amit Shah would want to bite this bullet.
All right. Now let me connect with Raj Lakshmi. Raj Lakshmi, what does the scene
Can you
look
hear
like?
me now, Nilu?
Yes, I can. I'm really interested in knowing, Raj Lakshmi. I just heard out Avinash, but
Niluji,
what is really...
Niluji, may I just add one more line, please,
Yes,
if you allow
yes.
me?
Go ahead.
Well, on this day, I also want to remember on a somber note the interim night between the 2nd and the 3rd of December when we had the major Bhopal gas tragedy. Whilst we are discussing this Madhya Pradesh election, I send out my heart warming feelings for all those people who lost their life on this particular day.
All right. So coming back to the political scenario, Raj Lakshmi, the leads which are coming in from Madhya Pradesh are really, really surprising. And what now the whispers in the political corridors is, and I'm going to come back to Puneet also on this after you, that, people are saying that Kamal Nath actually has given this victory on a platter to the BJP because he did not campaign aggressively the way he should have done it. And he never came out of the house. He never allowed the leaders also to campaign. Now, how far is that true? And does this theory really seem to be working in favor of BJP? Because Shivraj, despite being sidelined, no matter how much Pradeep may say that no, he wasn't, but he was out there amongst the people. And this is what was felt on the ground as well, that, the mama was there for the entire crowd.
Rather overshadowed.
Yeah, no, in fact, definitely, Nilu. I think the Congress has to introspect, on where it went wrong, because this kind of a lead that the BJP has had, in fact, defeating, anti-incumbency, for what, the 4th time or 3rd time? I mean, this is something which is which yes, which I think needs to be acknowledged. And why did it happen? Essentially, I think is the schemes that the government had, because in 2018 also with a special focus, on women as such. In 2018, in fact, there were 52 assembly segments where the number of women voters, outnumbered that of men. But then, but then one sees that the Congress also had similar schemes to offer. But then the electorate, what they say is, that we have seen the effectivity of these schemes, essentially. So we've seen them happen. We have seen them. We have seen sort of getting those benefits. However sort of paltry they might be, but then they make such a huge difference to the lives of people, given the general crisis today, the economic crisis, the livelihood crisis. So I think whatever little that governments give, even if they enhance it, it makes a lot of difference to the lives of people, and that is what we saw in this entire campaign. This competitive populism of schemes that for instance, the BJP says I'll give 10,000, and the Congress sort of revises its figure and says I'll give 12,000. So those kind of things were actually sort of playing out, and the electorate has, I think, supported that particular party or that particular government, where it has seen those schemes sort of getting delivered. The same thing in Rajasthan also, because the reason why
Right.
Why there the contest sort of continues to be close, and not really that the BJP is sort of seen getting a sweeping number, is also because there has been some amount of effectivity in the schemes that the Gehlot government did. But on the other hand, it's also a fact that the government got into the act only 2 or 3 months before the elections. Before that, there was a lot of infighting. There was open infighting, which in fact Tabina ji also sort of referred to, which the BJP sort of did not, despite the exceedingly amount of factionalism within the ranks of the BJP too, the multiple contenders for CM-ship in Rajasthan, they did not let it out so much in the open. So at least that facade was maintained. But as far as the Congress was concerned, it was in an open one and out and open split. So I think this MP result, yes, it is a thing to sort of reflect upon, and it's also a thing to reflect for both the BJP and the Congress. Is this how are you going to sort of conduct governance in the years to come, based on ameliorating schemes, rather than effect any kind of a fundamental change in your policies as such, because you're not really sort of generating employment, or in fact stable employment for that matter. You are in fact sort of giving doles which will sort of temporarily elevate the lives of people. But then the root causes for that suffering also need to be sort of addressed, in the long term, because these are short-term measures for which you are sort of gaining those short-term benefits. But
Right.
is that really adequate is also a question to answer.
Absolutely. Let me go to Gyan. Gyan traveled to Rajasthan, and according to the leads which I'm seeing, BJP is leading on 104 seats, Congress is leading on 72 seats, and others they're leading about in 23 seats. Now, my question to you is that with these leads and numbers, do you think that there is hope still left for Gehlot?
I don't think so. I think if the leads hold, BJP should be comfortable. I've always maintained that BJP will be comfortable in Rajasthan. And Rajasthan changes government every 5 years, so there is no big deal. But what stands out in this victory, or if we can say that if these leads hold, that without any without any state leadership, BJP has managed to win Rajasthan. Looking back, Rajasthan has never disappointed BJP in the last 5 elections, counting this one also. BJP has won 4, both in Lok Sabha and in state. So Rajasthan has been a very solid base for BJP. So another victory is, I don't see any problem for the BJP.
If without a face, if BJP can pull off these numbers in Rajasthan, my question again to you is the same what I asked Tabina. What happens to Vasundhara Raje now?
Vasundhara is the senior most leader of BJP. Out of 200, she got a substantial number of supporters were allowed to contest. So she is the senior most leader, and maybe if there is no, if BJP doesn't go for a generational change and elect a new leader, then Vasundhara is the front runner for the top office.
No, but what are you hearing anything from your sources that apparently there could be a change in the leadership in Rajasthan? They might bring in a new leader, as what you're saying. If at all that generational shift is on BJP's mind?
See, before the result, Amit Shah, the Home Minister, spoke to Vasundhara Raje during the campaigning period, and he made it clear that all the organizational support will be provided to her confidants. And there were about 40 people who were given special benefits like better social media campaign, better ground network campaign. So BJP has not annoyed her to that extent, I would say. So she is the senior most leader of BJP. I would not be surprised if she remains there or she is elected in the legislative party meeting.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah. All right. Now I'll come to you, Avinash. I'll come to you. Just hang on there. I want to go to Puneet now. Puneet, how does the politics now from here on change? It's very clear that apparently BJP will be forming the government in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan. Strong chances again of coming back. How do the things really change for the BJP and the Congress both? And before you answer this question, I really want to want a bit from you on Kamal Nath. That what really went wrong? We thought that Kamal Nath was aggressively campaigning and he was out there to support the party, but here the story completely looks the opposite.
No, well, I would differ with you there to some extent, because the sentiment that one picked up from Madhya Pradesh was not of a very pro-Kamal Nath, mandate. The sentiment generally that one could find in a lot of the constituency was a sort of longing for change. It was never about Kamal Nath in Madhya Pradesh. I don't think anybody, if you compare Shivraj Singh Chauhan with a Kamal Nath, I don't think any voter in Madhya Pradesh, and Madhya Pradesh being a largely rural state still, would look at Kamal Nath as the man who's here to deliver you from whatever problems the state has been facing. But I think for the Congress, what compounded the problem was, one, Kamal Nath's style of functioning. That was certainly a very important factor, going by these leads, because he basically left most of the heavy lifting for Digvijay Singh to do. The 66 constituencies where the Congress has not been winning for the last 30 years were all handed over to Digvijay Singh, that you go and campaign, you go and mobilize the crowds, rebuild the party. So if you are the chief ministerial face, but then you're leaving all that space of campaigning, mobilizing, etc., to a second person, then what's the point of having you as the CM face, right? And then towards the end of the campaigning, you saw him basically going and camp in Chhindwara. He was too concerned about how the party is going to fare in Mahakaushal, so Chhindwara and the adjoining districts. Most of his interviews to people came from Chhindwara, because he would do his few public meetings here and there during the day and then return back to Chhindwara. Whereas he should have been camping in Bhopal, using that as his base, traveling around the state, being,
Right.
Look at Digvijay Singh, who, of course, in Madhya Pradesh remains a very, very polarizing figure, But despite that, Digvijay Singh at 76 was addressing anywhere between 6 to 9 rallies in a day. And then you had Kamal Nath, who's your CM face, who's addressing 2 rallies in a day. Sometimes not even that. Second, the other issue also was, although personally, and I do concede that I didn't think that it would amount to such a bad performance of the Congress, but there were at least about 25 seats where they gave extremely poor candidates. I had said this earlier also. that their candidate selection, as always, left a lot, of work that needed to be done, and a lot to be desired. And I mean, there were constituencies where you had a very, very clear winning candidate who was denied a ticket for reasons nobody could understand. Or there were constituencies where you announced a candidate, then you withdrew him, then you announced a replacement candidate, and you basically made a mess of your campaign in those seats. So there was, I mean, the campaign was marred by a lot of confusion. There was no, unlike Telangana, where the Congress had a very solid campaign. It ran a very cohesive, a very campaign where you had a very clear plank against the KCR government, of Prajala Telangana versus Durala Telangana, the People's Telangana versus the landlords Telangana, so to speak. And you spoke about, the whole narrative of the BRS being a B team of the BJP kind of got a lot of traction in Telangana. And you see that campaign, how it's worked out for the Congress. In very strong contrast to that, the Madhya Pradesh campaign was never a very cohesive campaign for the Congress. What was going for the party was genuinely, in a lot of constituencies, people talking about change. So perhaps, when you had a very shoddy and shoddily run campaign in MP, maybe, to me, the only thing that makes sense is that towards the end of, as you move closer to polling day, I guess the people, and, it's basically their wisdom that we have to always defer to. They must have figured that, this is a party that, fine, we even if we do want change, is this the change that we want?
So would it be right then to say that Kamal Nath's campaign, or rather the Congress's campaign in Madhya Pradesh, gave confused signals because of Kamal Nath? He talking about the fact that he's a devotee of Lord Hanuman, he picking up a gada, he meeting Baba Bageshwar, and of course we all know that a large section of Congress leaders were slightly uncomfortable with this posturing of Kamal Nath. So has this particular bit also not gone in favor of Congress?
Certainly. I mean, if you were traveling in the tribal belt of MP, and as it happens, Mahakoshal, which is Kamal Nath's fief, had significant tribal pockets. That was something that did irk a lot of people. This whole very overt Hindu identity assertion by him, and these were areas where the BJP has been working for years. These are areas where the BJP has established local level leaders. So, I mean, although their politics is also all about Hindutva, but then, as I have said so many times earlier, when you have the original in the market, you don't buy a photocopy. So if you had to choose a Hindutva guy, or somebody who's giving you that kind of a thing, you would much rather go by your tried and tested local MLA who you've been voting for in the last 2, 3, or 4 elections, than try somebody else whose credentials are anyway doubtful, because there was also a kind of campaign on the grassroots where you could see, a lot of the BJP workers sharing WhatsApp, videos from 2018, where Kamal Nath could be heard talking about, ensuring that in Muslim-dominated booths, the Congress gets its votes. And those videos were being shared very widely at the grassroots level by the BJP in Madhya Pradesh. So, even for those who may have bought into his, Hindutva push, it would have left a scope of doubt that, okay, after the election, is he going to change?
Right.
Right. And lastly, we've talked a lot about Shivraj being sidelined, but I think we would need to qualify that here by saying that I completely agree that, in terms of the elections, the Prime Minister went out of his way to, sideline Shivraj. There were, in fact, rallies where you had Shivraj Singh on the dais with the Prime Minister and Modi not even taking his name.
Absolutely.
So forget giving him a chance to speak, not even taking his name. That changed towards the last 2 weeks of campaigning, where you had to suddenly then go back to Shivraj, bring him back to talk about him, talk about his schemes. But what remained as a kind of backdrop to this whole thing was that you were ultimately asking for votes in the name of the schemes that Shivraj has brought in. So it's basically Modi's face backed by the governance or the administration or the schemes, the populism of Shivraj Singh. And so there was an assertion, kind of a covert assertion that kind of stuff will continue. We are not changing, even if we do change the CM, if we win, we will change the CM, but we will not change the campaigning, the governance. The governance remains the same. And that for a voter is always reassuring, because you heard a lot of women, a lot of people talking about being beneficiaries of various schemes, Ladli Behna being a rather important one here.
Right. All right. So now Siddharth Sharma, political commentator, also joins us, and he is in Hyderabad. Siddharth, according to the leads which are coming in, and of course, the most surprising lead now coming in as of now, which I'm just seeing, is Chhattisgarh, Congress 41 and BJP 40. That's quite a nail biter.
Yeah, it's not just a nail biter. I was just perusing the Election Commission website, which also shows the number of votes polled, that is the vote share. And surprisingly, in Chhattisgarh, Congress is trailing BJP by 3% of votes. Right now, BJP is getting 45% votes and Congress is getting 42% votes. And nearly 18 lakh, nearly 20 lakh votes have been counted. So that is a good enough number. That would be around more than 10% of the votes ultimately getting polled. So Chhattisgarh is also now, I think we can make a call. I don't know whether we can make an official call or not, but I think Chhattisgarh also BJP would be winning. As far as Madhya Pradesh is concerned, BJP is leading by 8% votes. BJP is getting 48% votes and Congress is getting 42% votes. Rajasthan is a bit closer than Chhattisgarh. In fact, in Chhattisgarh, Congress is trailing by 3 percentage points, whereas in Rajasthan it is trailing by only 2 percentage points. It's 39% versus 41% for BJP. So it's now becoming very much clear that there is a latent anti-Congress mindset or anti-Congressism politically in India. And Congress cannot expect that anybody who is against BJP would be directly coming back to its fold. So Congress has to understand that just like there is an anti-BJP vote, there is a large section of India that is anti-BJP. There is also a large section of India which is anti-Congress. So Congress has to, I think, understand that whenever it is in a one-to-one fight with BJP, it comes out poorer. That's what the election vote share at least is saying. Because Telangana also, BJP is not a major player in Telangana. It is getting only 14% of vote share. But Congress winning, of course, in Telangana seems to be winning because it is leading by 3 percentage points on BRS. But basically in Hindi heartland, wherever there is a one-to-one fight with BJP, Congress seems to be losing, and Congress has to understand that. I think that is the message that this election results are conveying right now at this moment of time. I think it's around 11:15. The clear message is that to take on BJP, Congress one-to-one is a little bit difficult. Yes, Congress can beat other parties, but beating BJP on its own for Congress is a little bit of a tough nut to crack.
Right. But what would you say about the welfare schemes and the kind of narrative which Congress built? Let me come to Yogendra Yadav, the renowned psephologist who's just joined us. Yogenji, thank you so much for joining, and you had a hectic schedule, and good that you joined us right now. But what do the leads, the leads which have just come in? It looks like a big surprise. Madhya Pradesh looks like a surprise. Chhattisgarh, where Congress has now started trailing That looks like a surprise. Rajasthan, of course, is neck and neck, but then again, now it's BJP which is taking the lead. Were these the results which you were expecting?
Niluji, when the elections began, if someone had asked me what did I expect about 4 months, 5 months ago, I would have said Chhattisgarh is sure for the Congress. I would have said Madhya Pradesh is Congress has a very good chance. Rajasthan, I felt was iffy. And in Telangana, I would have said if Congress finishes a respectable second, they should be very happy. But in the course of the election, things changed. And as you know, I said Telangana is now absolutely sure for the Congress, which is how it has turned out to be. I thought Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh had come very close to the brink. But my sense was that Congress may be able to pull that off. In Rajasthan, I felt Congress would that it may head towards a hung assembly with about 20 outsiders. What we see now is a substantial revision even of that. In Telangana, what we felt is indeed the case. In Rajasthan, it's not a big surprise, honestly, because about 20 others is what we expected. And BJP taking advantage of that has happened. What has surprised, and in Chhattisgarh, the reports towards the end did say that it was coming very close. As of now, BJP for the first time since the morning has taken the lead, but we don't know. Let's wait a little more and we'll get a clear sense. Right now, there is now a clear possibility of Congress losing all the three. For me, the biggest surprise is Madhya Pradesh and BJP winning by the kind of margin it is winning in. I did not frankly see that. I traveled in Madhya Pradesh. I heard people talk about Badlav. I did feel that election had got much closer towards the end because the BJP had put in some very decent strategy and poured in resources, and Congress had not fought this election very well. But I am honestly surprised with Madhya Pradesh, genuinely surprised, because the big picture remains that these are three elections Congress could have won. And the big question we should be asking is, why did Congress not manage to win the elections that were possible for it to win? Rajasthan was possible because Ashok Gehlot's government had come out with some truly visionary schemes, Chiranjeevi Yojana, gig workers, and the pension scheme. These were really visionary schemes. Rajasthan has a tendency to vote out the ruling party, but that's not an iron law. It can be changed. If only Congress had handled the election more carefully, to my mind, two things stand out. Number one, giving tickets to sitting MLAs against whom there was a very strong anti-incumbency. The government knew about it. Ashok Gehlot knew about it. Congress knew about it. But their tickets could not be deleted. They could not be denied ticket. And second is simply one factor that people are not at the moment looking at. Two possible alliances. Number one, with the CPM in northeast of Rajasthan, in Sikar, Jhunjhunu, Hanumangarh area. And second, alliance with Bharatiya Adivasi Party in South Rajasthan, Bhil areas, especially Banswara, Dungarpur, that region. In both these areas, inability to have alliances has already cost Congress about 15 seats so far, as per my calculation as of now. That would have made a huge difference. If you take out 15 seats from BJP and give it to Congress or Congress alliance as it would have been, we would have been looking at a much, much closer fight. In the case of Madhya Pradesh, to my mind, the real problem was not so much the ticket and election, which of course BJP has done well. Let's not forget that BJP has some very, very deep roots in Madhya Pradesh. The real question is that BJP had almost lost the election last time. They formed a government, which was an illegitimate government. The government didn't do great work. And at the end of it, if the party wins by the kind of margin that it has won, then it calls for some very serious introspection. I'm sure leadership would be blamed, and these things do happen in politics. But to my mind, the bigger issues are two. One is the OBC wind that had started in Madhya Pradesh this time. After a very long time, Mandal politics has entered Madhya Pradesh. Congress could have aligned itself with that, but Congress simply did not. That has been one major undoing for the Congress party. Second is the question of scheduled tribe areas, which have traditionally been with the Congress. The BJP has managed to change that substantially. These two things have upset the Congress in Madhya Pradesh, but I'm frankly trying to understand it fully. I'm not entirely clear as to why BJP has managed such a big victory,
Right. But Mr.
not
Yadav,
having done a good government.
What surprises everyone is the fact, and we all traveled to Madhya Pradesh, and there was an anti-incumbency against the Shivraj government. There were corruption allegations that look how corrupt the government is. All those factors seem to be almost like in favor of BJP. That's what is surprising.
Yes, I'm surprised. So that's why I'm not providing any glib explanations, because what happens is that I say X will happen, suddenly Y happens, and I have a wonderful explanation for Y. That's too clever by half. I am truly surprised with the extent of victory. Exit polls had predicted it. And yes, we should try to understand. One can offer small explanations. For example, the Ladli Behan Yojana, which has been popular among women. People don't expect much from governments, and as and when they get some direct cash handout, which actually reaches them, and thanks to Election Commission's selective amnesia, the BJP had managed to give the second installment of Ladli Behan Yojana after the Code of Conduct came into being, while in Telangana, the same Election Commission prevented the TRS from giving this installment of Raitu Bandhu Yojana. But that, to my mind, accounts for a small bit of what we are looking at. That alone does not explain the whole of it. It is true that BJP ran a smart campaign. BJP had an overall strategy, something that you cannot accuse Congress of. Congress didn't have much of a strategy in Madhya Pradesh. BJP also had an overall narrative. Congress did not have much of a narrative in Madhya Pradesh, but these are fragmentary things I can come up with, which do not explain the extent of BJP's victory after an indifferent rule and after a trend of consistent decline over the elections. Mind you, over the previous 3 elections, BJP had consistently come down and was on its way out. Why should the same BJP suddenly go up? Is something that I cannot fully explain. I wish I had better explanations, but I don't.
Rajasthan, Mr. Yadav, do you think there's still hope somehow where Gehlot can ratchet up numbers in his favor, or we seem to, Gehlot seems to be losing out on that front as well now?
The numbers that I see right now in front of me are more in the nature of 70 for Congress and about 110 for the BJP. If that is the case, clearly there is no hope for Mr. Gehlot, and there should not be in democracy. I mean, if BJP has more than 100 MLAs,
yes,
Congress can get more than 100 MLAs and fail to form a government, but that doesn't happen with the BJP and Mr. Amit Shah's party. So if they have one MLA more than 100, even if they have 101 MLAs, BJP will form the government. That is so. At the moment, it's safe to say that the game of forming the government has slipped out of the Congress's hands. Because while there are 20 others, but it's not that all those 20 will go in one way. And it would be wrong for a party with only 80 seats to form a government with the support of all others put together, etc. So neither ethically nor operationally or pragmatically, this should happen. But Chhattisgarh still is a seesaw battle. It's hard to say which way it will go. At the moment, the scores in front of me show 47 for BJP and 42 for Congress. But as leads convert into results, things could change. So Chhattisgarh is the only state about which there is some uncertainty. The other three we can call with a fair degree of certainty as of now.
One final question, sir, before I let you go, and that is what kind of impact how it's going to have on India alliance? I'm told that Mallikarjun Kharge very soon has called a meeting of the India alliance. I'll come to you, Pradeep. Mr. Yadav has to go, so I'll come to you later. So, Mr. Yadav, how do you see things unfolding as far as India alliance now is concerned? Because initially what Samajwadi Party said that, Congress was on a high horse. They thought that they'll be able to pull off all the states all by themselves. And as what you also said, that had they been in alliance, the performance apparently would have been better. So how do you see now things unfolding from here on for India alliance for Battle 2024?
Look, the serious negotiations of India alliance begin tomorrow. So far, India alliance has shown intent, which is positive. They have shown capacity to name themselves, which is positive. And they have, in a sense, made it clear that they were not serious about the assembly elections. And honestly, these states were not the states where India coalition partners could have made much of a difference. CPM was important in some places, but otherwise, this election is not about Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Chhattisgarh are not the states where you look for coalitions. The real coalition states are Maharashtra, Bihar, Jharkhand, and states of that kind, and Uttar Pradesh in a very unusual way. So the real negotiations begin tomorrow. And yes, if Congress had won at least two of these North Indian states, Congress would have entered those negotiations on a very strong footing, which it cannot. It would, but in a strange way, Niluji, and you would understand as an analyst of politics. In fact, the setback for Congress makes a coalition making easier for India coalition, because now they operate on a somewhat similar footing.
Yes.
If Congress had emerged very, very strong, it may have made internal equations within India coalitions a wee bit more difficult.
Right.
So my own sense is that this sense of setback and a sense and the possibility that the setback could be repeated at the national level would probably, hopefully, put all the India coalition parties in a more sober mood and lead to some quick action. And hopefully an action which is not confined only to seat adjustment, an action that translates into some action on the ground. India coalition must get its act together. They must declare what their overall agenda for this country is. And they must do some program of action on the ground. Merely seat coalition talks are not going to get you somewhere in 2024.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yadav. I know you have to go to various channels. Thank you so much. It was wonderful having you on the program. And now I'll come back to other panelists as well. Yes, Avinash has been wanting to speak for long. Yes, Avinash, you wanted to make a point now? Yes. You're muted. Avinash, you're muted. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. I'm coming to everyone now, one by one.
Right.
Yes.
I do have a point, but Niluji, I want you to also ask me a question so that I add both of it. Do you have a question for me?
You were raising your hand in between. I thought you had something.
Right. I have lots to say. So therefore, I asked you for that option. Number one, I'll just remind everybody of our childhood serial, Star Trek, where Captain Spock used to say, "Dare to go where no man has gone before, without being chauvinist." Well, Yogendraji was asking this question to himself that I do not explain, or rather, he cannot explain the fact that how MP is showing the results the way it is, with everything going wrong for the BJP. Anti-incumbency, all of us agree to it. A rather failed Shivraj Singh government, a big Dalit issue where somebody bashed up a Dalit and he had to end up washing their feet and XYZ, a failed farm policy, failed everything. But what has worked for it? I am taking this stand, Neelu ma'am, and I'm saying the only thing that has won in MP is the credibility of the Prime Minister, the credibility of the delivery system of the Prime Minister that he's created. So Prime Minister, even in Rajasthan, said, forget all the candidates. Look at the symbol, look at the delivery of the government, look at the credibility of the government, whether it is on the national level, whether it is on the Garibi front, whether it is the Labhartis. So all of it boils down to the credibility of the government. Freebie is fine. Everybody adds it to some degree. But at the end of the day, the credibility that BJP currently commands is much beyond the opposition party. One. Number two, the MP result is also the reflection of breakaway of the plotted India alliance. SP fought 60. They were asking for 5 seats. You know what happened? Somebody called somebody a chirkot. Somebody called somebody some lower neta or chota neta. You know how it reflected with people? You were antagonizing a class which is a leader in UP. You could have done Congress could have played better politics. So this loss is as much a Rahul Gandhi's loss of credibility of the Congress. Even after 20 years, you cannot get back to power with a strong, perceived strong leadership of a Digvijay Singh fighting with a Kamal Nath. It is
All right.
purely and purely a Kamal Nath loss and a very, very big loss for Rahul Gandhi. Number
All right.
three, I'm still not suggesting that Rajasthan is a lost case because, as per my last information, the total difference between accumulated votes of Congress and BJP is less than 1,000. So the margin is 120, 87, and that goes with Chhattisgarh also. So Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan, I'm sticking my neck out, is still not complete. It could go the Congress way.
Okay, so you're still saying that Congress has some hope left as far as Rajasthan is concerned.
Congress is, and ma'am, in your last program, I said Congress is winning 72 in Telangana. They will win 72 in Telangana. They
All
will
right.
make government in Chhattisgarh, and they shall be very close in Rajasthan.
All right. Now I want to ask Pradeep. Pradeep, from here on, after these assembly election results, what are the challenges for BJP now? You probably, if Rajasthan wins and who knows if Vasundhara comes back to power, will Vasundhara not become a challenge for Narendra Modi? If Shivraj Chauhan becomes a CM again, if there is a big if he becomes a CM, will he not become a challenge for Modi? Don't you see this as a challenge in the days to come now?
Neelji, I would like to, I mean, you have a valid question to ask for. I'm a faithful believer in democracy, and in our party, we have a very clear thing, about parliamentary board that decides there. We have a disciplinary committee that decided, but nobody is talking about the Indians. What is their future now? Are they going to survive this after today's evening? And what will the situation of
We
Congress
have
as they've
spoken
been
at length
able to?
to Yogendra Yadav on that. You answer my question on the BJP bit. Are there challenges for Narendra Modi from his own leaders like Vasundhara Raje and Shivraj? Please come to the point. Yes.
Not at all. Not at all. 100 times not at all. We don't have any such challenge. I mean, the previous girl was speaking about, and the lady, Dr. Sabina, very beginning, she said that, that their fight was open and out, and we don't have anything on our. So are you going to take an inference of some few people, those who are speaking, and there is nothing to prove, nothing to justify, no proof to justify the fact what they are speaking? We don't have such policies, and we don't have such tradition and trend in our at least. I can say so. There will be experienced people, they might be saying on record whatever they want to say, but as far as the on record and things go in our party, it's completely disciplined. Parliamentary committee will decide who's going to be the chief minister. We cannot go for assumptions on a very serious matters. Neeluji, I'd like to assure you on this. And as far as the questions are that other leaders are going to be challenged for Adani Modi ji, this is absolutely, I mean, I will say no challenge at all. Every Karyakarta, we have a different lineage. I mean, yes, Congress is a 35 years old party. We are only less than 50 years old. And that which we carry, even if we have something, to say any Karyakarta in the distribution or any problem in the distribution ticket, they are discussed, but it comes out in open and start abusing it. You may have some small records on the local level, but for the central leadership, we don't have any such thing on. But if anybody can bring a small.
All right. Now let me go to the other speakers. Rajalakshmi, if I may come to you now. What are the learning lessons according to you? We have to wind up by 12. So brief comments coming from each of you. What are the big learning lessons from this assembly election result which we are seeing today?
See, for the Congress, I think sprucing up its organizational structure right down at the bottom, it needs to be done, I think big time, because even if schemes are good, for instance, in the case of Rajasthan, we heard from people. I mean, I spoke to a range of people who said that its inability to take the schemes, down to the people and to sort of campaign on those schemes was a big drawback. And in fact, the anti-incumbency of MLAs is also a huge issue. Now the fact remains that this was done to quell, the rebel factor. But then, in trying to quell the rebel factor, it sort of created this, this situation where where the party had to renominate, the majority of the MLAs against whom there was strong anti-incumbency, at the local level. There might not have been a similar resentment against Mr. Gehlot, but as far as the local MLAs went, this was there. Now, other than that, yes, the infighting. I'm not saying that the BJP sort of did not have it, in Rajasthan. It did have it. It was quite strong, and in fact, that was also a reason for which why the BJP has not really swept the polls as it did, in 2013. And sort of prior to that also. Now it remains to be seen, as to why, as to what are the other factors that may have sort of contributed to this. But as far as MP goes, yes, I mean, I wouldn't say that this was entirely due to the PM, because that magic did not really work as far as HP was concerned, as far as Rajasthan was concerned, as far as Telangana is concerned. That magic has not really worked, So I think it's the local factor of Mr. Shivraj Chauhan being at the helm of affairs, and the fact that he did sort of deliver to that extent. But yes, I think the vote margins will need to be seen, Nilu, because that is also a very significant thing. Because I don't think that that you can say that the Congress is the same as it was, in the previous elections. It is in a new avatar entirely. It is in a fighting mode, which is, I think, good.
Right. Absolutely. I want a quick word from Puneet on Chhattisgarh. What is really the likelihood? Is there hope left for Congress, or the story is done and dusted almost, according to the leads now which are coming?
Well, I was just checking, Neelu. Chhattisgarh, I believe it's about fourth or some constituency, fourth round of counting. In some others, fifth and sixth rounds. So I think it's still, I would still not call the Chhattisgarh result. There's still time, and the leads are very, very narrow. I was just checking the leads on some of the seats. The leads are 200 votes, 900 votes, 500 votes. It's that close. So I would still think that the Congress might make it. I had been saying that the Congress is not going to have a very comfortable victory in Chhattisgarh. It will be a victory, but it will not be a very comfortable one. Right. So I think that is where the results are veering towards. But I had, when I was traveling in Chhattisgarh, one of the things that was very, very evident was that while the chief minister had his own popularity and his own brand, most of the Congress candidates were very unpopular. And this is why in Chhattisgarh, for the first time, you had the Congress denying tickets to 22 sitting MLAs. But then that triggered its own set of complications, some of them contesting as independents, some of them contesting as, candidates from the BSP, from the JCC, and these parties. Now, one will have to, once the full results come in, one will have to wait and see how much did these candidates actually damage the Congress, how much did they poll, etc. But yeah, I mean, it was not a very comfortable election for the BJP, for the Congress in Chhattisgarh. And then towards the last lap, when you actually had polling for the second phase, which had a bulk of the regions where the BJP is anyway stronger, which is the plains, Bilaspur, Durg, Bhilai, these areas, Raipur. You had the whole Mahadev app scam blowing up. And then the BJP, going on the offensive over that. So yeah, I mean, things haven't panned out, certainly, the way they should have for the Congress, or, as the Congress had hoped. But I would still not call the Chhattisgarh result. Let's wait and see the very, very narrow leads as of now, and just fourth or the fifth round of counting. There are still another, 15 to 20 rounds of counting left.
Right. Yeah. All right. Now let me come to Siddharth. Siddharth, what is your take now? We'll have to wind the program soon. So, what's your take on the leads which are coming in?
Yeah, my take is very clear.
The scorecard, if I may ask you, if you're in a position to give a finality to the scorecard.
Yes, I'm going to give a finality because Chhattisgarh also nearly 30 lakh votes have been counted. So that would be nearly in all the states, more than 25% votes polled have been counted. And it's very clear that Chhattisgarh, BJP is leading Congress by 3%. In Madhya Pradesh, BJP is leading Congress by 8%. In Rajasthan, BJP is leading Congress by 3%. And in Telangana, Congress is leading BRS by 2%. So it's very now clear that this election we also saw that including the Prime Minister of the BJP, it kept its rhetoric a little bit low. The BJP's rhetoric was a little bit low. The common factor was Congress, BJP, as well as BRS. Everyone played on welfareism. Right. But the key differentiator here is that in the Hindi heartland, a voter would want welfareism peppered with culturalism, whereas Congress was just giving standalone welfare. So I think the key differentiator here is that at least in the Hindi heartland, a voter would vote for culture welfare only if it is peppered with, वो हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, उसमें छोंक लगा होना चाहिए संस्कृति का. आप लोगों की भलाई करो, लेकिन कांग्रेस की तरह stand alone welfareism doesn't work. I think at least in the Hindi heartland, it's now very clear that the Hindi heartland voter would vote for welfareism. Yes, he would vote for welfareism, but not standalone welfareism. It would have to be cultural welfareism.
Right. All right. That's an interesting point. Yes, Nagarajan Sundaram, what's your scorecard now? Very briefly. Yes.
No, you have to give me at least. I have been given only 1.5 minutes.
Okay, sir. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
First, actually, I disagree with Mr. Siddhartha, as always, as usual. So, people are scolding Kamal Nath only for bringing in culturalism. That's because of that only they have lost. And he is saying that they have not done it, only standalone. It is not there. Everyone tries everything in their hand. And end of the day, actually, people decide. And all the experts, political experts and all, they don't see the statistics. They go just by rhetoric and they want to make people win of their choice. I have gone through the statistics. Based on that, I predicted 3 states BJP is winning, 1 with a minority numbers, and my failure is only in Telangana. Other 3 states, actually, my predictions have come true. And one more disagreement with my senior, Mr. Dr. Yogendra Yadav. He said that Madhya Pradesh, the numbers has been coming down for BJP consistently. It is not true. Numbers has been rising. It came down only in 2018. That too, actually, 1% more than the Congress, actually. Now, my numbers are BJP will get around 115 to 120 in Rajasthan. In Madhya Pradesh, it is a landslide. And Chhattisgarh also, they are forming the government because the FASLA is around 8 seats to 9 seats now. Actually, nothing is there. And as far as the leadership is concerned, Modi is not going with Vasundhara. BJP has got younger chief ministers across the country, barring Mr. Manik Saha in Tripura. So BJP, it is a good thing. Some leader has taken the cudgel to actually remove and bring in younger blood. Why should actually people? As far as Shivraj Singh Chauhan is, he is a man who can deliver and who is.
Okay. Now we have limited time. Gyan, so does it mean... No, one second. Just hold on, Mr. Nagarajan. Mr. Nagarajan, I'm sorry. I'll have to interrupt you here. Let me go to Gyan now.
30 seconds. I will tell only one more thing.
All right. 30 seconds to you, sir. 30 seconds. Mr. Nagarajan, are you able to hear me?
As far as Shivraj Singh Chauhan, he will continue.
All right, sir. All right. Now,
yes.
Does it...
Actually, as far as Shivraj Singh Chauhan is concerned, He will continue. He will continue.
Okay, got your point, sir. Got your point. Gyan, so does it mean that it's the end of the Vasundhara era in Rajasthan now?
I think it's a bit too early to say that. Let's wait. The game is not over. He's still the senior most leader. So the game is not over. Let's wait for the evening when the parliamentary board will meet. And I will not rule out Vasundhara completely. Yes, there are other leaders, but
Avinash, I'm sorry I cannot come to you now. You had your turn. Yes, Kya?
But three things stand out for me. One, at least in the Hindi heartland, one is better leadership of BJP. People have voted for Prime Minister. Second, better organizational skill. The Madhya Pradesh victory, or even if BJP is giving a fight in Chhattisgarh, it is because of the leadership and organizational network of BJP RSS company. And third thing is the beneficiary politics of BJP. If we look across, on an average, 25% of the people across Hindi heartland states, I'm only talking about Hindi heartland states, are getting subsidized food. About 10% of the voters have got subsidized cooking gas, houses. So we cannot rule that out completely. Congress too has managed to promise a lot of in Rajasthan, in Madhya Pradesh.
Can I give my score? I just want to give my score.
No, Avinash, I'm really running short of time. We have a next live session, so I'm really sorry. You had your turn. Yes, Gyan.
No issues, no
the point, and then I'll come to Tabina. Yes.
Yeah. So these 3 points I think stand out for BJP, and I think these have worked really well for, and it is going to be the biggest challenge for Congress in the next 5 months.
Right. So the challenges for the Congress, Tabina, your last word.
Yeah, so challenges for the Congress were, two drawbacks that went wrong for Congress. Number one was infighting, the longest infighting in the Congress since it came in power in 2018. 2020 to 2023, we've seen a lot of tussle, lot of infighting, then high command intervening, but, tab tak kharab ho jata tha sab. So number one is that. Number two, we have to see which caste is very important in Rajasthan. So results are yet to come.
Pradeep, please mute yourself.
Results are yet to come. We have to see which caste has voted which way. What is Eastern Rajasthan up to this time? Have Gujars divided votes between, Congress and BJP, unlike 2018 when it voted, everybody in Gujar community voted for Congress because they were hoping Sachin Pilot to become the chief minister. First infighting. Number two were the paper leaks. Multiple paper leaks. We cannot ignore Rajasthan this time had 22 lakh new voters, new first-time voters, and a lot of youth. When I was reporting in Shekhawati region and some other regions, I spoke to lots of youngsters, especially women, who told me they have spent 1 year, 2 year preparing for an examination, and later they got to know, papers were leaked and exams were cancelled. All their plans went, upside down. So youngsters, number one, infighting in the Congress, these two, I think, went wrong. And also the anti-incumbency. It was already there, but still the figures we're having, 67, 70. I think it itself is social security schemes are speaking here. Because in the first tenure of Ashok Gehlot government, it was reduced to 56 seats. In second tenure, Congress was reduced to 21 seats. This time, even if Congress, scores more than 60, 65, I think it's a quite respectable. At least, there will be an opposition with some numbers.
Right. All right. So our coverage of the result day live will continue.
Neeruji, do I have half a minute, maybe?
Half a minute only. Half a minute means 30 seconds.
Right, 30 seconds begins now. Right, exactly. I just heard the last speaker say exactly what I said early in the morning, that even if Congress loses Rajasthan, which I still don't agree to, Congress is going to be in a extremely, very good position. All their earlier losses were bad losses. This is not going to be a bad loss. However, it's going to be end of the road for few people. End of the road for Gehlot Saab, end of the road for Nath Saab, end of the road for Chhattisgarh CM. So I even if Congress comes back to power, I don't see Baghel Saab getting repeated. number one. And number two, the score is going to be 2-2.
All
2
right.
to Congress, 2 to BJP.
All right. So you've listed out that it's end of the road for Kamal Nath. It's end of the road for Gehlot. Well, the jury would still be out on that. I will not say anything more on that. But our result day live coverage will continue on the Federal. And do join us. Thank you so much, Avinashji, Pradeep, Tabina, Rajlakshmi, Gyan, Puneet. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you.
Thank you.